Hello everybody and welcome to Data Engineering Stuff, your highly opinionated data engineering channel. Today I want to start things with a short fairy tale. Imagine an enthusiastic young data engineer which great ideas and ideals, and he has the idea to create the perfect data platform for his company. So now imagine that was you some time ago, when perhaps you architected your data platform in the company you are working for. And yes, so I assume you did everything right when you created the platform. So first you need some kind of architecture. So you conduct interviews with all the business departments to get the requirements. You talk to all the stakeholders. You ensure that you get the buy-in from upper management. You set up the project communication. You're doing workshops and using lots of methods to really get all the requirements you need to create the perfect data architecture. So you did that, and the architecture is fine. And of course, you know that creating a dark architecture is making the less bad decisions, so the less worse decisions. So there is no perfect architecture. You know that, but you made some sensible trade-offs. And made some really intelligent assumptions, and then you start the project, and even that runs fine. So you set up Jira, you don't know, you using perhaps Scrum, which perhaps works for this project really well, and you get the perfect platform perfectly matching your data architecture. So everything seems to be okay, I think. So why bother? You have the perfect platform built from the perfect architecture, you know all the requirements. But I have to tell you, you're already here. So you see, there's your platform, and there's the platform how it should be. So why is there already a gap? How did that happen? There are two things already leading to a gap between your platform and the platform you actually need. The first thing is, in the moment you gather requirements, you assume that everyone that tells his requirements knows everything he needs in the future, and he knows the current state very well. So perhaps there is some, don't know, department manager, and he has some project in the back of his mind which really would change the game, but perhaps he doesn't know that well about it. He has not yet decided to go for this project. Perhaps he doesn't want to tell you because he first wants to have the buy-in of the upper management by himself for his project, and so he won't tell you. But perhaps this is really a game changer. Perhaps this is something where the business is more committed to transferring data to third-party companies, which perhaps your data architecture doesn't really fulfill well, because you have not that permission management in place, and there are lots of things that won't work well if that is a major requirement. So the other thing that happens is, one day you get the requirements, then you're working on the architecture, then you implement the architecture, and now you are here. Your requirements are from there. So there's already a time gap since you created the architecture and implemented it. So that's something that already happened. So you already have a gap now between what you need and what you got. So as time goes by, this is getting worse. Of course, business requirements change. Perhaps you made the assumption that you don't need any PII data. Perhaps because there were no data analysis on no data product that need PII data. Perhaps your company at the moment didn't have some PII data. So now at this point, perhaps someone says, oh, I really need I need data analysis on PII data. Please make sure that this works. So you try to get this into your data platform. Okay, so you take a red pen, you like strike through some things in your data architecture, you draw some arrows and you implement it, and it works. But it was not designed for that from the bottom up. So time goes by, and now another manager comes and he says, hey, from a data privacy standpoint, you can't just say that this is PII data and everyone gets PII data. We need granular access. And perhaps we also need this for third companies where we have special agreements with them. And this is the part where you're really getting into trouble, because getting PII data really split up on a field basis with permissions is really not that easy. And that's something you really need to focus on from the beginning of creating your architecture, and not when you have a running platform. So what do? You do some manual workarounds. So you say, okay, I'm an admin, so I have the rights to do that. So I write some jobs that somehow figure this out and put the data in the right place, so I don't get into trouble there. Okay, perhaps, but this is already not designed from the beginning. So perhaps the usual developer journey is broken at that moment. Perhaps your CI/CD pipeline doesn't work that well with this, because the CI/CD pipeline may not read the data for some reason because of data privacy or stuff like that. And this all leads to more problems. Perhaps sometimes there are project deadlines you will miss because you are already doing so many manual workarounds. You have no straight and easy solution because there's perhaps a new company that needs access to your PII data. And as this is not well designed for that, you really need a long time to get this company to really query your data, and to make sure that the data privacy officer is happy with that. And so it goes on. Project deadlines are missed, project runtimes getting longer, perhaps even query performance is getting worse because you had to build some permission layer on top of that, something where there really is no permission for that. So you had perhaps to manually check things, or to do really cumbersome check in some implementation you did. And that all adds up to a real big mismatch between the platform you have and the platform you should have. And there's no rule of thumb when you have to say, now I need a new platform. But think of it, how is your platform currently working? How many workarounds do you have at the moment? How many requirements are you not fulfilling, or only with really cumbersome implementations? Where's the data architecture not as clean as it was a time ago? And are there really some requirements you just can't fulfill? Or perhaps there are some governance compromises you made to really get this running. So think about it. I would like to hear from you. So do you feel you had this situation before? Perhaps you are in this situation, or perhaps you are one of the lucky ones that just started with a new data platform and you're really happy, and you are in the phase of everything is okay. We have some small problems, but everything is good. But as time goes by, you will be here, and you have to find the right point where you can start early enough with a new platform to not getting this gap too big, because if that gap is too big, you won't have the time and resources to create a new platform, as this involves all the things that I said before to really create a platform that matches your business demands. So I'm happy to hear from you, and that's it from my side. Goodbye.